Good evening, Gold Stars. Today is December 27th, 2019. I'm your host, Dom Gold. We've got Speeve with us once again. 2019 is coming to an end, and we wait the arrival of 20funny. And this is the Dom Gold Update. So welcome to the last Dom Gold Update of the decade. It has been a full decade that we've been doing this now. All the way. Yeah. We've been doing this show for a full decade now.
Including me.
With, millions of fans out there. I'm so glad to have you here. Where were we these past 10 years? Like, what's happened?
Puberty.
What's going on? Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, I guess 2010 we would have been in 7th grade? Middle school. I know it was at least middle school.
Youngins.
We were youngins.
Naive.
We were grown. We took a whole decade to incubate.
And now we're grown man.
And we're at Burger King, even though Dunkin's the place to be.
Dunkin' is the place to be.
So, we've got Connor. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Ready for the year to be over, ushering in the new decade, the year of 20funny.
20funny. We're really excited. Our friend Alex coined the term 20funny.
Coined.
He took a coin, he etched it in. But yeah, you've been a regular on the cast now too. It's been great having you.
You should just give me the cast.
Yeah, maybe it'll be the Speeve update.
It's the Speeve date.
Speeve
dating.
That might be a new segment we need to do. But since a decade has a lot of content in it, that's going to be pretty much what we're doing tonight. We're going to be reviewing the entire decade. We've got 3 lists that we made, and we all made them today. We did favorite movies of each year, favorite games of each year, and favorite albums of each year. And hopefully by the end of it, we'll be able to come to best game, movie, and album of the decade. And we're going to talk about some other stuff, too, that was good for the decade. We'll save that for the end. Do we want to just, jump in?
We're just going to jump in.
We've got a lot. Let's bring it all back. Let's hop in your time machine, whether it be a DeLorean or maybe a phone box. What other, I don't know, pop culture, time travel things. Your Rick and Morty.
Some boomer humor.
Yeah. Boomer humor. Did that start in the 2010s?
Yeah, boomer stuff. Boomers did not start in 2010. No.
But they're because they
the usage of the term.
It took them till 2010 to learn what the internet was, right? They finally understood that the internet's here to stay. It's not just a phase.
Yeah. Just like when I was 15, it wasn't just a phase.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's affected my life.
So, do we want to do that? Or do we just want to start at 2010 and just work our way through
We're going to go to 2010, and we're going to go to now.
All right. So, 2010, let's start with movies. What was your favorite movies of 2010? Now, I got to preface all these lists. We made these today. We used Google, so we kind of just did 2010 movies. So I have some anxiety that we might have missed some movies or some games or some albums. So it's from what we can remember, from what we could conjure up. And also, this is our opinion. This is not to say that these are the best.
We're not saying these are definitively the best.
Favorites.
These are our favorites of the decade.
Wow, a whole
When we get to video games, we're not going to include games that are like MMOs, which started before the decade started.
Or
and are continuing releasing expansion packs and stuff like that.
Right.
So we're avoiding that, but we're trying to do games that came out that year.
Yeah, because I would almost say that one of my favorite games of the decade might be Rainbow Six Siege, but that's been
concurrent.
People have been playing that for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, it's been out for a minute. Just like Overwatch, a lot of the games that we might have are multiplayer, but it's still at that point they're still releasing content. They're still releasing huge updates.
We've got our friend from Australia who spent the last decade at a KFC.
Oh hell yeah!
A decade and a half. So you were there in the 2000s and the 2010s.
Dude.
Oh, that must mean they had the Double Down.
I love KFC.
Did you ever have a Double Down?
No, what's a Double Down?
The Double Down was a sandwich that was a piece of chicken, some cheese, bacon, sauce, and a piece of chicken.
That sounds bad for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And they also did the Cheetos chicken, which was probably one of the greatest things I've ate, but also gave me possibly the worst digestive issues that I ever had. But we'll get there. Let's jump in. 2010 favorite movies, Connor.
Favorite
2010.
movie. Well, 2010 was not a good year for movies, in my opinion. I'm sure good movies did come out in 2010.
No, and so this is something I noticed, at least with the movies and the games on the list that we went through.
Yeah.
Movies seemed early 2010s movies were bad, and as it got towards the end, movies got better. And games, I felt like it was the opposite. That 2010 started with a lot of really good games, and as the decade went on, wasn't so great. So what was your favorite?
I'd say the movie that I remember the best, fondly, is the A-Team remake.
Yeah?
Yeah. I really like Rampage Jackson. I really like Liam Neeson. Bradley Cooper was in it.
Oh, Liam Neeson was in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I really liked the TV show. So I thought the movie was fine. Rampage is one of my favorite fighters.
Okay.
It was weird seeing him in that movie. No, Bellator now. But he was, yes.
He was USC when this came out.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know. 10 years is a long time.
Checked. Yes.
So you tried to do just one movie per year, right?
I tried my best to bring it down to one movie, one album, one game per year. Some of them I couldn't make a decision on.
I'm too indecisive in my choices, and my tastes are all over the place, so I had to grab a few. My movies for 2010 were Toy Story 3. Mm-hmm. I did Tron Legacy, Megamind, and The Expendables. So,
Expendables was fun.
Yeah,
I never saw Megamind. I never saw Tron Legacy.
I wouldn't say Expendables was this great film, but
it was fun.
It was the first film that was, let's take all these action stars and put them all together. I was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, and the first one was really good because they kept it really true to like 1980s action movie where it was just like excessive violence, like really violent. And then they started doing sequels, and the sequels were like PG-13. It was like, well, this isn't fun anymore. Yeah. Like when the Old Spice guy is going through with an AA-12, like literally turning people into blood clouds. That's what I wanted, not just like Jason Statham punching people.
Yeah. What about game? What would you say is your 2010 game and album? Let's just knock it out. Knock it out.
So games, I also, like I said, I did a list for each one, and I'm going to try to decide which one was my favorite. I'll highlight them. So, movie, I want to give it to Toy Story 3 for movie for 2010. So I'm going to highlight that. Game, my games were Red Dead Redemption, God of War 3, Halo Reach, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I also had Just Cause on there, but that's more of like an honorable... Just Cause 2. That was like an honorable mention because I just played the crap out of that game. But the first Red Dead Redemption came out that year, and I spent a lot of time with that game, and I really loved it. So
I played it. I played a lot, way more of the Undead Nightmare.
That came out.
I was trying to get the Four Horsemen and do all the cool little Easter egg stuff that they had. My game for 2010 was Civilization 5.
Nice.
On PC. Okay. I still play that game now. It is such a good game. I know the new one came out, but I still play Civ 5. It's super fun, and I can't get enough of it. I like the strategy. There's a marathon mode, which you know how it goes through decades. Each decade of the marathon mode, each decade is the length of a normal game. So it's super, super long. So I kind of just do that. I check in. I have one. I'm playing Egypt right now, and I'm currently in the middle of a battle with Poland because Poland is building too close to me. So I'm trying to eliminate that. Album, though, there wasn't...
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really...
I gotta do mine.
For 2010 album, I did the self-titled Of Mice and Men because it's just, at the time, I was super edgy, and it's what I was listening to.
Yeah.
And I can't really, think of anything else that came out in 2010 that stood out to me more than me listening to that angsty album.
Yeah, so albums for me for 2010 was really hard, and I think doing the music for this was probably the hardest list for me to make.
Mm-hmm.
2010, I went back and looked. Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe 2
Yeah.
came out.
Oh, yeah.
Gorilla's Plastic Beach. Ludacris Battle of the Sexes came out 2010. I felt like that was way older, but that came out that year apparently. Pendulum's Immersion, Korn 3, and Daft Punk's Tron Legacy soundtrack. I've
Still haven't seen
listening
Tron
to
Legacy,
that
so
a lot.
2010. Let's rate it 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. 2010. I'm gonna put that as 2010. You get a 3 out of 10. Thank you for. Oh, but you gave me Civ 5, so a 5 out of 10. 2010.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I think God of War 3 was my favorite game of that year. Peace Walker's one of my favorite games, but I didn't play Peace Walker that year, so.
I mean, as long as it came out in the year. And
Yeah, but I don't know. I remember God of War being a very prominent thing because it was coming out. I had never played any of the God of War games, so I went and bought the HD collections, marathoned them, pre-ordered God of War 3 the day before it came out, and like went and got it. And I was just like, I played all of the games in like a month. So, and then album, out of all the ones I said, I think I'm gonna give it to Korn 3, just because I remember back in 2010, super into Korn. Like Korn was my thing.
I saw Korn live like 3 years ago.
If you ask Alex, I used to wear this Korn shirt that when I went to the first Korn show that I saw them at.
You saw Korn live too?
I've seen them 2 or 3 times now.
Hell yeah.
They opened for Rammstein once. I saw them at the Rockstar Festival or whatever.
Yeah, I saw them with it was Breaking Benjamin, them, and I think it was Motionless in White.
See, I saw them with
the other
Rob
guys?
Zombie.
I would have loved to see them.
So I saw them with Rob
like Rob
Zombie, Lamb of God, and Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh yeah.
So, there's this Korn shirt that I used to wear like every day of middle school. And it's got like a guy that kind of looks like Jonathan Davis that's like doing this, and he's wearing an Adidas tracksuit, and he's like making the R in the Korn logo.
Oh.
It was their tour shirt for I think 2009. So before the decade, we're going real far back.
All right, 2011.
2-1-1.
2010, you get a 5 out of 10. Try better next time.
Fitty.
Try better next time.
Troy better.
2012.
2011. You're skipping.
Oh, did 2011.
Yeah.
My fault. I'm just gonna fucking rapid fire. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Whoa. Okay.
Super fucking good movie. I am a huge Mission Impossible fan. Yes.
I like hearing that because I feel like there's whenever people talk about those movies, it's always in like a joking manner. And say what you will about Tom Cruise, but those movies are executed very well.
It's like my guilty pleasure stuff. I love the Mission Impossible series. Each movie that comes out is like good. They do well at the box office. It's fine. Nobody dislikes, no one hates the Mission Impossible movies. They're just super fun. I think it's relatively lighthearted. Seeing him do these stunts and like understanding that he actually did them, not to the extent that they're, like actually being executed, but like he did hang on the side of a plane. He was climbing that building in Dubai.
Yeah. Wait, is that movie? The Dubai one?
The Dubai one is Ghost Protocol.
I do remember that one, and I did really like that one.
Yeah. And then Uncharted 3.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
And Tom Waits' album, Bad As Me. I am a huge Tom Waits fan. Bad As Me is a super good song. If you don't know who Tom Waits is, look him up. Not my problem. He's super good. Sucks if you don't know who he is. It's your fault. All right. What about you, my dude?
My dude, me man. So
movies.
I had my list was Hobo with a Shotgun, which I discovered not in 2011, but it was on Netflix later. Really liked it. It's one of those films that kind of it mimics 1980s style, so it has like the over-exaggerated violence and kind of the old look. Also, Power Glove, who did the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon soundtrack, did some of the music for it, and the soundtrack for that film was actually what it inspired the soundtrack for that game a few years later. So I really love that movie. Rango, the Johnny Depp animated lizard movie, came out that year. I really liked that movie. Green Hornet, which was
wait, wasn't that Seth Rogen?
Yeah. I know, it was. I always want to make sure to highlight comedy because I feel like comedies are kind of like a dying breed of film. And but this one was good because it was comedy, it was action, it was a fun watch. Christoph Waltz played the villain in it. So
did he?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Didn't he?
He had the double barrel Desert
Christoph
Eagle
Waltz.
in it, and I really enjoyed that film. And then I can already say this, probably contender top 3 for movie of the decade at least, if not the movie of the decade. But we'll find that out at the end. Drive came out that year.
Never seen it.
Really?
Yep.
Wait, really?
Yep. I wanted to tell you right here, right now.
Ah, man.
I've held it from you for so long. I've never seen Drive.
It's funny because these are the images that came up for Drive.
Oh, Google Drive. Hell yeah.
Drive.
That's what it is. Oh, and then generic Drive.
Yeah.
Generic man.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah. Why is the first one that pops up a man? Stupid.
Wow. But yeah, Drive, excellent film. That's one of the movies every time I watch it, I like it even better than the last time I watched it. So yeah, and then we'll jump into games. I also have Uncharted 3 on my list. I have
wrong.
Infamous 2, which I know, whatever, Infamous, but I really like that game. I played it a lot. I really got into the Infamous series. And then Mortal Kombat 9 came out that year, and that was probably the fighting game that I got into the most. Like, out of any fighting game, I think I played that one the most. Really love that game. And then my albums, I had Lady Gaga's Born This Way, The Aquabats High Five Soup, Mastodon the Hunter, Korn's Path of Totality, whatever, I can't speak, and Crystal Castles 2. And if we want to rapid fire through those, Drive was my number 1 of that year. I want to say Mortal Kombat 9, just because like how much I played that really got into it. And I want to say Crystal Castles 2 was probably top for 2011.
Okay. All right. Rating 2011 out of 10.
Yes.
You didn't do a lot for me. Uncharted 3, which is fun, but still 2011. You also have 2 1s. I'm gonna give you a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can rate the years.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You get a 2 out of 10.
Well, wouldn't 2011 be 1 out of 10?
Nope.
Out of the deck? Okay.
Nope. It's a 2 out of 10.
All right.
Let's go to a better year. Hopefully, we don't know yet. Let's find out.
Well, the world ended this year.
That is true.
Yeah, in 2012.
In 2012, the world ended. It's over. Game over.
Yeah.
World's dumb.
There was the big tsunamis and the earthquakes and
Yeah, and the movie.
And in a movie.
That movie.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest disaster of that
That's
year.
what we're here to review. The movie 2012.
So, you want to go first?
21 Jump Street. It was super, super funny. Very self-aware. I like that kind of humor. Channing Tatum showed his comedic chops. What is his name? Jonah Hill. Super funny man. Then Far Cry 3.
Okay.
Voss is a super, super funny man. Super cool guy. Very crazy. Kind of reminds me of the Joker. And then album is Money Store. Death Grips.
Okay. I gotta say, so I'll go ahead and jump into my music. I had Grimes' Visions, Death Grips Money Store, Purity Ring Shrines, D'Antwoord's Tension, and Crystal Castles 3 also came out that year. I want to say Death Grips Money Store, probably favorite album of that year, because I still am constantly listening to that album. It is a tough tie for me between Tension, though, because that D'Antwoord's Tension was a really big influence on me at that time.
Yeah.
So I want to say it's a really tough tie, but because I find myself listening to Money Store more these days than I do Tension, probably have to give it to Money Store.
They make a backpack. Birthday idea
No way.
for Dom.
Oh, I've got the shirt.
Oh,
that's
a cool
dope.
little backpack. Oh, I would love to have that backpack. Buy me that backpack. Send it to me.
So then,
Send me the backpack.
my movies of 2012 were Prometheus, Skyfall, the James Bond.
Skyfall.
Yeah, Django Unchained, and Dark Shadows.
Fun fact: I'm going to be in Scotland in May, and I'm going to the place. You know that final area they were in Skyfall.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to go see that
nice.
house. That's there.
So going back over these, like I said, Death Grips Money Store was probably the album. I'm gonna have to give favorite movie to Prometheus. Django Unchained.
Really?
I want to say Django Unchained was a better filmed, but Prometheus had way more of an impact on me as far as like filmmaking.
I hear a lot about Prometheus, and from what I hear, it's either that or
Have
the
you
one
not
that came
seen
out.
it?
No, I saw the one that came after that. I saw.
You saw Alien Covenant.
Was that the second one?
Yeah.
Where it's still that era, that time. Yeah.
And I feel like my games are the same thing, where I think, like, out of my games, Max Payne 3 was probably the better game, but I played Halo 4 so much when it came out.
Yeah.
I got really into, like, the Spec Ops mode and everything, so that's probably my game of that year. So
2012, it's over. There is no 2012. It died 0 out of 10.
Oh, damn.
Because it doesn't exist.
You heard it here from him, the man himself.
2012 never happened because it ended.
Well, yeah, because the
Mayan calendar.
the engineers from Prometheus, they
The
came
engineers
in,
and I
they
don't get
had
the
their-
reference, but
Well, gotta watch the movie.
Nope.
Yeah, like if you go back to the last decade, I want to say Drive and Prometheus defined my decade. Those two movies, like they were very. I have every.
Prometheus.
Yeah, it's weird, but I have every NECA figure that they made of Prometheus. I have every action figure from that. So.
And you do have
And I have the Drive jacket. So me in the Drive
Ryan
jacket holding
Gosling's.
all the NECA figures of Prometheus. NECA, I know you're listening.
Send more.
Yeah, send
it to
me
him.
something.
All right. So 0 out of 10. Sorry you suck. 2013, way better year
Yeah?
in my opinion.
Okay.
Wolf of Wall Street, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio is a super stud.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say, I'm just going to say my movies real quick. I had Wolf of Wall Street, Pain and Gain, which was the best Michael Bay film I've ever seen. Based on a true story, had The Rock and Mark Wahlberg, maybe? I don't know. It was really good. I recommend watching it. And then I also had Last Stand. It was a Schwarzenegger film that came out. Not
Yeah,
many
never-
people saw it, but
Yeah.
big Schwarzenegger fans.
Wolf of
I like
Wall
that.
Street.
But Wolf of Wall Street was my favorite of that year, for sure.
That's up there in contender for a decade for me.
Yeah, really?
Decade. Yeah, it's so good. He's so fantastic.
Yeah, and he should have won the Oscar for that.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
Did not
take it from Revenant and give it to him from that.
Yeah, I mean, Revenant was fine, but as far as acting,
Okay.
Wolf of
Well,
Wall Street.
video game. I got Outlast.
Oh, really? That came out in 2013?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna say Outlast.
All you horror game fans
I'm
out
a
there.
super big horror game nut, and I thought Outlast was very, very fun. Not a lot of other games came out in 2013 that really impacted me the way that Outlast did. I think the mechanic was super cool, and it was very spooky. I beat it in a day. I beat it in one night.
Oh, cool.
I sat there and I beat it in I think it was 4 or 5 hours. And I was very, very drunk. So I was very happy while I was playing it.
Is that contender for possibly best day of the decade?
Best day of the decade?
Yeah, we're gonna get
Yeah,
there,
we're
but
going to reveal our best day ever of the decade at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned to find out what the best day of the decade.
Best day ever. Just as SpongeBob
is.
would say. I'm gonna pause for a second and catch up on the chat because they've been going crazy.
Oh, shit.
So
Hi, Ryan. How you
best of the
doing?
best. We've had a couple of times. That was off in the U.S. No Cheetos. Oh, Cheetos chicken. That might be best food of the decade for sure.
Best food of the decade.
Toy Story 3 and Megamind.
Chicken
are the
parm,
only
best
ones
food of
I've
the
seen.
decade.
Good movies. Don't need to watch anything else but Toy Story 3 and Megamind. Remember playing Civ 1? That's like a lot.
You're old.
Yeah, you must.
Sorry.
Back
You're
when I was
old,
a
man.
lot younger. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I'm young as shit. I'm 13. So I haven't even been through this.
Hello, Ryan.
I already said hi. Ryan's my friend. He's not your friend.
You guys will.
Ryan, what was your favorite movie of 2013? I want to know from you, Ryan, what your favorite movie from 2013
Yeah,
is.
everyone in the chat, I want to hear your favorite 2013
Yeah,
movie.
also feel free to type out what your favorite movie is of each year, or favorite game, or favorite album,
Or favorite something.
favorite whatever. I don't even care. Just put whatever you want.
Let's move on. So you did Outlast. My favorite game list for 2013 was The Last of Us, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Metal Gear Rising, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
All these games are
Blood
really
Dragon
good.
is if I could put your personality into a video game, it would be Blood Dragon.
And Blood
I
Dragon.
think that's the manifestation of your personality.
Blood Dragon would have been my favorite game of that year if it was longer.
Yeah, it was very short.
Way too short, and they shouldn't have even made Far Cry 3. Like, throw that game out the window. This should have been the game. This should have been the full...
I just said Far Cry 3 was my favorite game.
Yeah, throw that out. Far Cry 3 should have been, or Blood Dragon should have been the full game. But
I would have loved a full Blood Dragon game.
Yeah,
that was super fun. It was very, very short. Though,
Ubisoft, if you're listening, give us what we want.
Album.
Wait, I do want to say Metal Gear Rising, favorite out of those.
There you go. Album, I'm going to butcher this, because Jinsei Boku by a band called One OK Rock. They're a Japanese rock band, and they're super good. They don't, not all their music's in Japanese. A lot of it is in English, and they try really hard, and it's super cool, and I appreciate it a lot.
They try really
hard.
Okay.
Like, like when they perform live, you hear them, like, trying to speak as fluently as possible, and it's amazing.
Does it come across well in their music? I've never listened.
Yes.
I've never heard this band.
Yeah.
So.
I bet they have a lot of practice when they're recording, because they don't, they're still picking up and learning the language, so you can't really like.
It's kind of like Hideo Kojima when he says one word in English and there's no accent.
Yeah, but you still fucking big open-handed claps for Kojima whenever he says a word in English.
Yeah.
Yep, but that would be my album.
My albums I had on my list. I had David Bowie's Next Day, which came out. Disclosure's Settle, Daft Punk Random Access Memories, and Kanye West's Yeezus. Yeezus, I think, was like peak of his
Real quick,
life.
Nicole just said she's 35.
Oh, okay.
Which is older than me. Sorry, boomer. I'll say here, you're older than me by more than 10 years.
I gotta say, Random Access Memories out of that list, best album that year. Good stuff.
All right, 2013. You are better than 2012. I will put you at, you gave me Wolf of Wall Street. It's super good. You are at a 6 out of 10. So good job. Best one so far, because the others have been shit. All right, so let's move on to an even better year.
Ooh. So for you, the decade just started off bad and got better as it went on?
No, I can assure you that maybe some might take a dip. We don't know.
Okay, but you're gonna have to listen to see where it dips out.
So 2014 movie. Ready?
I think
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that was my favorite too. I also had the Lego Movie, John Wick, and Ex Machina on my list for movies.
I'm joking, Nicole. I appreciate you. I'm sorry that I hurt you.
We love you, Nicole.
Don't
listen to
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm a horrible person.
Wait, Taylor?
Nightcrawler was actually my favorite movie as well that year.
Oh,
really?
Perfect.
So freaking ridiculously good.
It was so. Mr. Gyllenhaal is just so fantastic.
I watched it on plane.
Or Fury. I also like the movie Fury a lot.
That's all right. I watched that in your apartment. It's funny that I've remembered where I saw both of these movies.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the first time I watched that, I was sitting at your first apartment, and we watched Fury.
That is true. We did watch it for the first time.
Yeah, we went to Redbox. We're like, what's there to rent? We got that.
Yeah, there was a Bernthal, LaBeouf, Pitt. All these. It was good. I liked it.
It was all right.
I liked it a lot.
But yeah, Nightcrawler is definitely.
I'm
my
sorry.
favorite.
I'm sorry, Nicole. I accept my apology. I'm a bad person.
Games for me for 2014 is hard because there were a lot of games that I played a lot in 2014, but I can't say which one was like my favorite because we had Destiny came out, which was a game that I anticipated a lot of. I spent a lot of hours in that game. Once the DLC started coming out, that's when my interest started waning. But when it first came out, I spent a lot of time in that game. I remember there was a day that I logged on. I thought I was just going to do my daily challenges and go home. Or I was at home, but turn it off, do something else. And then Greg joined me, and we started playing. And then Frank Howley...
Greg, by the way, is just he's like the Joker. You don't want to say his name out loud.
Oh,
he's bad. Bad news bears.
And then Frank Howley joined us, and he was like, hey, I just got this game. Show me what to do. So me and Greg were like, all right, let's walk him through the whole game. I think I put down the game. I paused it once to go, like, get a piece of watermelon. But other than that, I sat there for, like, 16 hours and just played that with Frank and Greg.
Yeah, when the new Destiny 2, the newest thing came out, or whatever it was called that just passed, I put 100 hours in that game in a week.
Okay.
In a week, I put 100
But then also, Watch Dogs came out that year, which I played, like, all of. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which I think that might end up being my favorite. But I run into the same issue with
Yeah, it's too short.
it's way too short.
Yeah.
Infamous Second Son, which was my first platinum trophy game.
But also, isn't that a short game too? Isn't Second Son relatively short? Because it's not like a full thing.
No. Second Son's a full game.
Is it?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Second Son had some DLC things in it. 'Cause it had First Light. You know what?
Okay.
Second Son was my favorite game.
Okay.
For sure.
I would
now
give
that I
my
think about
favorite
it.
game to either Titanfall. I love Titanfall 1 or Stick of Truth.
I also had Bayonetta 2, which is a very close
yeah.
contender for favorite game of that year. But Infamous Second Son, I played the game twice because I did evil and good, got the platinum trophy. I also played the Paper Trail DLC and the Infamous First Light DLC, and I played everything in that game. Very
What's your album?
favorite album 2014.
Favorite album. Alien Isolation was a good one. Yeah. I mean, it was fine.
I didn't play it. I should have because I love Alien, and
I watched
play it.
people play it.
yeah, I watched. a
So
few people play it.
we had fun playing it.
Also, hello Kenny. I'm glad you're here.
Hi, Kenny.
2014 had some good albums. We had Skrillex's Recess, which came out, which I really liked. It was kind of like Skrillex's comeback. D. Edwards Donkermog, which was like the last album of theirs I really loved. That had like Pitbull Terrier on it, some other classics I consider now. Mastodon's Once More Around the Sun. Riff Raff's Neon Icon, which was a very important album to me at that time. And Slipknot's .5 The Gray Chapter. I want to put... reading these albums now, I want to say .5 The Gray Chapter is my I don't know. Neon Icon was way more important to me that year.
Thank you.
Would you say?
It was such an influential album.
Yeah, I mean that album really. So staying on topic, not only are we reviewing a full decade, but about half a decade ago, 5 years ago, exactly today, I recorded the lyrics for my first ever rap song, rap game Red Dead Ryan. And if it wasn't for Riff Raff and his album Neon Icon, I probably would have never made that song.
Oh.
So
Hey, Riff Raff. Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Riff Raff.
Thank you, Riff Raff. You also do a lot of good charity work for dogs.
Oh yeah, he does. He does do a lot
of good stuff.
good stuff.
So one of my favorite, I wouldn't say band, I'd say rap group.
Okay.
Or group of musicians, Clipping, self-titled Clipping from 2014. It's super, super good. Clipping has Daveed Diggs. You'll know him from the movie Blindspotting. You'll know him from, he plays Lafayette on Hamilton. He's about to be.
There you go.
He's
there you
about
go.
to be the main character in the new Snowpiercer HBO series.
Ooh.
But go check out Clipping. It's Clipping with a period. It's super, super good.
See, that's the thing. I feel
can't
like
recommend them.
he doesn't get enough recognition for all the other stuff he does. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Hamilton," and then they just like,
Yeah, exactly,
okay, whatever.
exactly. It's the guy from Hamilton, and it's like, okay,
And
well,
he does like all this other really cool stuff.
yeah. Clipping is so good. So I'm glad that album came out in 2014. I'm glad that you gave me that spot on my list. 2014, you did fine. I'm gonna give you a 6 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. That's above half. That's a
Yep.
D.
Yes. Thank you, Clipping, for helping make that decade better. So moving on, we're about halfway through the
Yeah,
decade
we're in
now.
2015.
We're at the big 1-5.
The
2015
boys
was-
do basic math.
2015 was an important year. A lot happened personally for me in that year. I mean, I graduated high school. 2015.
Did I? We don't know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. That was when my sister moved away for a few years in 2015, so I was kind of on my own. I started college,
Yeah.
and got a job, everything. So a lot happened 2015. That
Big
2015.
year for you.
If we do like, what do you call, like, instead of a decade, what comes after that?
Century.
A century?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. So 2015 might make it in my top years of the century list.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 2015 was like.
Well, let's see how it does when it comes to movies, video games, and albums.
Yeah, let's see what it does.
So, ready? Boom. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation.
Oh, we have a second Mission Impossible movie.
It's gonna keep coming. Every time you give me a Mission Impossible movie, it's gonna be my favorite of the year. So stop putting them out.
Yeah.
Because it takes up that
It
spot.
ruins his
It ruins
list.
everything. Stop putting Mission Impossible movies out.
Isn't there another one coming out?
There's 2. They're filming. They're filming 2 at the same time.
Oh, they're pulling a James Cameron.
They're pulling a James Cameron. They're pulling a Infinity Wars Endgame.
Oh, damn. Okay.
They can do whatever they want. I don't care.
You're gonna go see him.
Yeah. So it goes to Rogue Nation. Good movie.
Dun, dun,
Dying Light as a video game.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't a lot of games that came out that year that I
Yeah,
played a lot of.
2015 was real short on video games.
Yeah, but I do give it to Dying Light because that is a game that I
What was
remember
your
playing
album?
fully. Instant Gratification by Dance Gavin Dance. It's a very it's a math rock. You've heard of them. You know the meme. Name all the original members of Dance Gavin Dance, but you can't. I can't.
I can't even name a song that they did. So
They're all named Gavin. Is that the joke?
Yeah, they're just all Gavins and they dance. A
they
lot.
all look like their names, Gavin. To be
Yeah.
honest.
I'll take band names for 400, Alex.
band members.
So okay, so my movie list. I had Chappie came out. Force Awakens came out.
You know what? Chappie did come out that year.
Yeah, Chappie did come out that year.
That is such a.
Does
fun
that
movie.
dethrone Mission Impossible?
No, God, no.
Okay. Force Awakens came out, which was just big hype. Disney Pixar's Inside Out came out, which was really, really good. But my movie of that year, by far, won like 7 or 8 Oscars. Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
That's
That's a few
movie that
people
year.
I saw on Twitter. That's a few people's movie of the decade.
Oh, it's definitely up there with. It's tied with Drive
It's
for
super
probably for me.
fun. I thought
That's the
it was a
perfect
very
word.
fun movie. I didn't think it was my favorite movie of the year, but I thought it was super fun, and I liked seeing it with a bunch of people because their reactions were.
Dragon Con that year was so good because
Was there a lot of
there's a
cosplayers?
lot of
Mad
Fury
Max
Road, Mad Max cosplayers. The whole step was filled
Look
with
at that. Look at that.
war
It's just
boys
fun right
and
there.
all kinds of stuff.
Now, you probably couldn't think of a game that came out in 2015.
2015?
That you probably can't think of any game that came out at that time that's good.
Well, that's the thing. I have one game on my list as opposed to all the other years.
Yeah, but is that game even good? We don't know.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
That was my game.
Yeah, it's
Least favorite of the series story-wise. Favorite of
Well-
the series gameplay-wise.
Yeah, it was very fun gameplay.
Gameplay was I want to say this is almost in contender for game of the year, game of the decade.
Yeah.
Purely based on gameplay.
I played 2, 3, and 5.
Okay.
So I have there's a lot of gaps a lot of stuff that I'm missing,
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of gaps.
You're missing
but
a
he's
lot.
filled in a lot of the stuff for me so I can enjoy
So
these games.
2015 had a lot of music for me.
Okay.
It had Grimes, Art and Angels, Skrillex, and Diplo's Jack U came out that year when they did like the collab. Drake's If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. Death Grips, The Powers That Be. Tyler Creator, Cherry Bomb. Lindemann, Skills and Pills. Gucci Mane's Breakfast. Gucci Mane's Lunch, and Gucci Mane's Dinner. And The Soft Moon Deeper. And this is tough for me because out of all these, I'd want to say The Soft Moon Deeper, but I really didn't discover that album until this year. And I know you're saying like it's okay if you didn't discover it that year,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. It just that was very an album for this year for me. So if I take that out of the equation, that's tough. I want to say Lindemann's Skills and Pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do play that. You did show me that album, and I did from that album start listening to Lindemann. So I do. I also enjoy that album. I think Inside Out was my favorite that year. Sadness is my best cosplay. Is she the blue one?
Oh yeah.
She the blue one?
Yeah. Oh, you cosplayed it. That's awesome.
I have a really hard time watching animated stuff. Like it's nothing like against animated things or like I just
You can't. You have a hard time connecting to it.
I like to relate to movies a lot because I like to put myself in that position. So a lot of the time, like when it comes to animated stuff, I can't really put myself. But like when it comes to video games, it's fine because I'm like controlling them, and I don't know what it is. I'm a horrible person. I'm gonna die. So I'm gonna rate this year, 2015. I'm gonna give you a. You get a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Because you're halfway through the decade and you're a 50%, so you're an F. So you failed. Sorry, sucks. All right, moving on. We are going to the year of the heat, the good year,
Oh,
2016.
Was that a good year for you?
It was a. You want to know why it was a good year for me?
Why was it a
fucking
good year?
ready? The Nice Guys. Super fucking phenomenal movie.
It's interesting because I haven't heard you talk about that movie until like the last week.
I watch it a lot, and then
Like this last week, for some reason, you've just been
Well,
like,
I feel like
you
I
know what
talk about
movie's
it a
good?
lot.
The Nice Guy. I feel like I haven't heard you talk about it except like this past week.
yeah, and then so following that, Uncharted 4.
Yeah. Okay. So
which is phenomenal.
yeah. So I have Uncharted 4 on my list. The only other game I have listed, like an honorable mention, was Pokemon Go, just because of how much of an
That was
impact it
cool.
had that
Yeah,
year.
a bunch of people had cool.
But, like,
Uncharted
Uncharted
4
4
was the game that year.
That was the game that year. For movies, for me, I had Neon Demon. I did have Nice Guys on my list.
Oh, yeah.
Zootopia, really liked it. Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah,
on my
I
list,
liked Rogue
really
One.
liked it. And then I had La La Land. And I think out of all those, I actually have to say La La Land. Probably my favorite out of all those.
Really?
It's interesting because I really appreciate musicals, but it's really hard for me to like them. Like, I really appreciate that, but it's really hard for me to be like,
Do you like Broadway?
I do. I love Broadway.
Okay.
But I was never because I was in theater.
But
all
did you
four-
like Cats?
We'll get to that.
Find out.
We'll
Stay
find
tuned.
out. Stay tuned.
See what we think about the new movie Cats.
Did we even talk? We mentioned something about it last week.
Well,
but
we
did
went to
say-
go see it that night.
Oh, that's right. We haven't
Yeah.
even seen it yet. So you're gonna get a.
You're gonna get a live review of the movie Cats.
So I don't know. I was in theater all 4 years of high school. I was really into theater and performing, but I was never the kid that paid attention to Broadway. So when everyone was like, "Oh, Heathers and this song and that song and Hamilton and whatever was coming out," I didn't care. Because I was
Sure.
like, I don't know, it didn't speak to me. But then I would find things that, I really like this musical, or I
I
like
think one of
this
the big
play.
things that ushered me into Broadway was the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
And that plunged me into like the comedic Broadway shows.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Avenue Q and stuff like that. And then
Oh,
from
love
there, I
Avenue
got into
Q.
like Phantom of the Opera and like more like Fiddler on the Roof, more serious things.
Yeah.
So.
But La La Land, I cried. I really like it. It's got two of my favorite actors, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
If you can't guess, there's a pattern to his favorite.
And I thought that was weird because that was the year that like they announced them for the Oscars, and then they were like, "Oh, we gave you the wrong envelope." It was like, why did you even have a wrong envelope?
Marketing.
Yeah, it was.
PR.
It was such like a weird publicity stunt.
Did
or
you ever?
something.
Did you ever? Well, before we get too far from Broadway,
oh.
did you ever see Oh Hello?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
It's a gold.
I saw, wasn't it Steve Martin on it?
He was. Yeah.
I saw that bit.
Too much tuna.
Yeah, I saw that bit.
Leave it at that.
I like John Mulaney a lot. His
So-
new kids show came
My
out.
movie of 2016, La La Land, game, Uncharted 4, album.
Ooh, I'm gonna say mine is "You're a Man Now, Boy" by a guy named Raleigh Ritchie or Jacob Anderson. If you don't know who he is, you do know who he is. He's Grey Worm on Game of Thrones. Yeah, really good. He was in the movie Overlord for the first 20
he's
minutes.
that guy.
Yeah,
okay. See, it was like I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I was like, this means nothing to me. And then I was like, the guy who
I'm not
exploded.
gonna spoil the movie,
Is that the right guy?
but he had a very explosive performance.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything
Sorry,
else.
I read your joke.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to say anything else. But all I'm gonna say is, watch out for landmines.
So, albums I had for 2016, I had Boy Harsher's Why Our Body Is Nothing, or Your Body Is Nothing, Gorgira's Magma, which I've seen them perform a bunch of songs from that twice now, because I went to 2 of their shows this past year. Pet Shop Boys Super, which I thought was really cool. It was interesting because I realized that album got released because I still have my 9th grade English teacher on social media because he's retired now, and he was very influential. He was one of those teachers, he just stuck with you. You remember him.
I do remember him.
Yeah, Mr. Welker. Shouts out if you're watching. He might be watching because he always watched my stuff. So this is shouts out to Mr. Welker. He posted something about this album, and I was like, "Oh, Pet Shop Boys, I'll check it out." And I listened to it a bunch. I had Kanye West's Life of Pablo on here. That album, it came out. It was kind of the timing of that album that it came out that it kind of was influential for that year that I have it listed. But favorite album of 2016 goes to David Bowie's Black Star, and that is in contender for favorite album of the decade.
You are a huge Bowie.
Huge Bowie fan.
Bowie man.
This album meant a lot to me. I was looking forward to it for about a year when I realized that it was being released, and then he died, and that made it that much more like emotional, impactful.
Very impactful.
I love the music videos for both of the songs, for Lazarus and for Black Star, and good stuff. Good
All right.
stuff. A
Well-
lot of emotions behind that.
All right, 2016. It was a good year. I'm gonna give you a 7
Wow, that's
out
pretty
of
high.
10.
I want to say 2016 for me was it was interesting, and a lot of good things happened, and I enjoyed 2016, but I don't know.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Thank you for giving me Nice Guys. Thank you for giving me Uncharted 4. Thank you, Raleigh Ritchie, for releasing that album. We're going to move on to year. The next year.
2017. We're almost at the end of the decade.
2017. Movies. Just right off the bat, Blade Runner.
Ooh.
Gorgeous movie.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I saw it in theaters, but twice. The first time I had to leave halfway through to go deal with an issue, and then the second time I got to see the movie 20 minutes after it already started.
So it balanced out.
Yes. Yeah. So I managed to see, like, everything that I missed, and it was super, super good, super gorgeous. Baby Driver also came out.
Yeah.
2017. Baby Driver was phenomenal. And then Disaster Artist.
I have all three of those on my list as well.
I just can't decide between those three, because Blade Runner,
They're all
though it was
such
long
different
and
movies.
slow, it was very, Blade Runner was super gorgeous, very slow. Baby Driver was like super fast, super upbeat. Disaster Artist was very, I loved The Room.
It was funny
It's such
and
a funny-
emotional, and
Yeah.
and just James Franco. He's not always
You brought it to the table, James. Thank
the
you.
best, but he really knocked it out with that one.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Franco. Which, just I don't even remember what year this movie came out, but remember The Interview? And I remember
Yeah. Because wasn't it supposed to go into theaters, and then it was
there
taken-
was like a terrorist threat or something because it was North Korea, and they're like, we're at war with James Franco. And it was funny because I remember, you had to like stream it online.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember watching it and going,
Didn't it just get put on Netflix eventually?
yeah, it did.
Isn't
And
it
no
like
one
that?
cares anymore. It's like, this was a
Yeah.
terrorist threat, now it's in the $2 bin at
Yeah.
Walmart. But I really liked that movie. And I was like, you know what? Usually James Franco's humor, like, I don't care for it, but
Yeah.
like, that one was good. I thought it was fine. It was funny.
I don't really like a lot of stoner stuff, like a lot of
Yeah,
stoner
I'm not the
comedy
biggest
and
fan
stuff.
of any of that, but there's sometimes they get it just right.
Yeah.
So 2017 for me, I had a big list of movies because there was a lot of movies that came out.
Oh yeah, it was a good year for movies.
So Get Out came out. I really like that. Logan, which was probably one of the best superhero films of the decade, I want to say. I want to put it up there.
Yeah, Logan was
Baby
good.
Driver, like I said. John Wick 2. It, which I thought was a great adaptation of the book to the movie. Alien Covenant, which I kind of have on there just as an honorable mention because I really enjoyed watching it, but it was kind of a mess of a film. The sequel to Prometheus.
Oh, yeah.
Disaster Artist, like I said. Atomic Blonde, which
I never saw it.
Oh my god!
My brother saw it. He loved it.
So good. I'm a huge fight choreography fan. Huge Charlize Theron fan.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, I love her. Dior perfume, good stuff. Great movie, but I do have to give it to Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. That fantastic
Yeah,
movie.
really, really good. Games kind of sucked that year. Not gonna lie. I only have 2 games on my list.
Yeah.
I had Resident Evil 7, which I myself didn't even play all the way through, but I did sit and watch. We played it as a group of friends. So I did experience the whole game, but I wasn't always the one on the controller.
Yeah.
And then the only other game which I had, which is my game of that year, was Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Okay.
Which had Chloe in it. She was a character that was introduced in the second game. Loved her. And when they were like, here's a game where you play as her, I was like, thank
That was one of
you.
those things where I bonded to Nathan Drake very, very much. And I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan.
Yeah.
And he brought that feeling. And seeing him depart or have a game without him in it just kind of I was like, I don't want to play an Uncharted game if he's
So you
not
didn't-
in
you
it.
didn't
That's
even
his.
play it?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I
play
really
it.
liked it. It really had it almost had like a Legend of Zelda feel halfway through because you got to
Yeah.
this big open world area where you had to go to like 7 different temples that were all in this like area to do things. It was
My game, I did Cuphead, which I
Okay,
thought was
yeah.
fun. It's very cute, very artsy. I really like that style. That aesthetic is very cool. And then Persona 5, which it's
Okay.
kind of everyone's
I
favorite
saw a
game
lot
right
of people that was game of the decade for them. I think
It's,
Doc
you know
Ryan
what?
had that listed as his game of the decade.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Persona 5 was super, super good. I'm a huge Persona fan. It's just there was some games that took that spot from it. It's up there, but there's some games that took that spot from it.
Okay.
Album though, I think you and I have the same.
Yeah, 2017 was also kind of sparse on music for me.
Yeah.
And that was when Priest released New Flesh. album
Priest,
of that year.
I just, to be fair, Priest, he introduced me to them about 2 months ago, and they have, I've been listening to their music every day. I listen to at least one of their songs each day. They're phenomenal. They're such a great group. They're very, it's a very
You might want to put Priest
80s
in Flesh if you're looking for
80s
some-
aesthetic. There's also a few other bands called Priest. There's Priests, and some other stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Guy with the spiky
Judas
mask.
Priest, whoever they are. So
And
they
Priest
wear a
is-
lot of like bondage stuff on their
Priest
head.
is coming out with a new album soon. They just posted that they like finished writing all the lyrics.
And so, my favorite song of the decade. My favorite song of the decade
Okay.
is called Moby Dick, and it's by a guy named Jakey or Nakey Jakey on YouTube. And it's a solo. It's a single. There's not an album for it, but that is my favorite song.
Oh,
and I wanted to throw
you
it in
actually
there.
had a favorite song.
Favorite song of the decade is Moby Dick by Nakey Jakey. It's also probably my favorite song. One of my top 3 favorite songs of all time. Yeah.
Wow.
It's phenomenal. I love the song. I don't know. It really vibes with me. You know what I'm saying?
Makes you feel like you're just a better person.
I mean, it's a sad-ish song, but yes, it does make me feel like it feels like if I were to make a song, that would be the song that I would make because it's the style, the aesthetic that I really like in music. So 2017, you get an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Thank you for giving me that song, and thank you for giving me that.
All because of that song.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Persona 5. I see I'm not alone. That Kenny guy in the chat says Persona 5 is my definition of perfection.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal.
I played maybe the first
I also say phenomenal a lot.
dungeon of Persona 5. I liked it, but for me, there's too many different things going on with the game because they have the tarot card aesthetic going.
Yeah.
They've got like
Well, did you play the other games? Like
No,
3 and
I was
4?
never-
Okay, so just jumping in, there was probably a lot to understand.
yeah, and it was a game that Jose consistently tried to like get me on, and I like it and I appreciate it, but it's not my thing, so
Yeah.
it wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
But I totally understand why everyone likes it.
Thank you, though. 2017, you were very good.
You're a cool
Moving
year.
on, 2018, great year. It gave me Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, that's on my list.
Spider-Man, the video game for PS4.
Oh!
Got tricked.
You got a lot of Spider-Man 2018.
I love that video game.
I need to play it still.
Every once in a while, I'll just turn on my PS4 and just swing around.
Yeah.
Beat up a bunch of thugs,
I
swing
feel
around
like
again, and then
the
go.
past like 2 years, there's so much good stuff that came out that I just didn't get around to playing. So like my list is really small because I ain't get to play Spider-Man yet.
Spider-Man is a game I highly recommend. It's just so I don't really like open world games. I like very, very linear games.
Yeah.
But just something about swinging around. I don't even use the fast travel. There's like a fast travel thing you can do.
You're like,
I don't
nah,
even
I'll
do
take
that.
30
I'm
minutes
just
to get
gonna,
to the
I'm
other
just
side
gonna
of the map.
swing because it's so very pleasing.
Well, I will say
cathartic.
that
yeah,
way.
it's very cathartic. Thank you for that word that I'm going to use
Way
now.
back
That
in
I
the
know. I
day-
know what that word means. You don't have to tell me what it means.
One of my
But I know what it means.
One of my favorite games, like just of all time, probably top 10, was Ultimate Spider-Man. And I remember the feeling of swinging in that game was great, but that was back on like PS2, so I can only imagine how good it is on PS4 now.
Movie wise, Mission Impossible Fallout.
That's the third Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, I mean it's all the ones that came after the decade.
Would you just say that that would be your favorite franchise of the decade?
Favorite franchise, movie wise, yeah. Favorite movie franchise of the decade.
Wow.
Of all time, it's Indiana Jones, but
Right, but of the 2010s.
yeah, oh yeah. And but also Blind Spotting,
Okay.
super good movie.
All right.
It's another David Diggs. I mentioned it earlier. It's a very powerful movie. I recommend watching it when you have free time. Just don't go into it thinking it's gonna like lift your spirits or anything.
Okay.
It's very, very emotional.
Ooh.
There's some comedic stuff that happens in it, but it's a lot about Oakland and stuff that happens in Oakland.
okay.
And it's very touching movie. David Diggs.
So,
Please fucking follow me on Twitter.
Games for me.
I do a lot for you. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, he'll start live tweeting about Mission Impossible a lot more.
Yeah.
So,
Just thinking about Mission Impossible.
but games again, 2018 was kind of sparse for me. It wasn't until this year that I played God of War 2018, but
Okay.
I did play it, really liked it. But my game of the year has to go to Red Dead Redemption 2 because I did play all of that. And
What were your movies of the year?
movies? So this is tough because I right here am still trying to decide which one's my favorite. But on my list, I have Black Klansman,
Oh, great.
Annihilation.
I'm gonna stop saying phenomenal. Every time I say it, he's gonna punch me. I say phenomenal so much.
I haven't even noticed, so you called yourself out on that.
I have.
So I have Black Klansman, Annihilation, Solo: A Star Wars Story, Mandy, Into the Spider-Verse, Halloween, and Overlord. And I think out of those, I'm tied between Mandy and Halloween.
I would say Overlord would be my favorite movie that year, but only the first act. So
Second act gets way too
it
funny
gets way
zombie
too up.
movie.
But the first act of that movie is super intense, and it gives you such an you get so anxious while you watch it. It's such a good quality, spectacular World War II movie in that first act. So thank you for the first act. I wish
I'm gonna
you-
say Mandy. Mandy was favorite movie.
Okay.
Because I'm sitting here looking at the images now, and I'm like, I think Halloween was definitely more of a solid film, but what Mandy did, it's just such a. If you don't know about the movie Mandy, it's a movie that came out 2018 with Nicolas Cage. And it's very experimental film, very does its own thing. There's segments where there's like a dream sequence and it's animated and it's very out of place. There's a lot of really good like subliminal messaging and meaning, and just it's quirky and it's that same like hyper violence of 1980s films that I like. And it starts off kind of normal and just gets like wacky, but like the movie itself takes itself very seriously. Kind of gave me the vibes of Hobo with a Shotgun, but if Hobo with a Shotgun was a little more serious. So yeah, movie of 2018. I'm gonna Mandy.
album. I'm gonna give it to Ballads 1 by Joji.
Oh, okay.
I really like Joji. A lot of people, that's not their thing. The lo-fi isn't really doesn't vibe with them. But that's like last year was when I really like got into it, and like I would be playing video games in the middle of the night, or I'd be sitting staring at my ceiling, like I usually do, and I'd put that on, or staring at my wall, or when I'm sitting in the shower. That's what I do. I sit in the shower. Don't point your fingers at me.
This isn't you being sad. This is just what you do.
That's just what I do.
Okay.
If I'm not here, I'm sitting in my shower. What
That's
about
hot.
you? Music? Did you already do
Oh,
your music?
no,
My
for
guy?
2018, I did not. And music for 2018 was also very sparse. I had Boy Harsher's Lesser Man, but then definitely album of that year, possibly album of the decade, Darren Malakian and Scars on Broadway, Dictator. So good. So good. Saw almost the whole album performed live.
And now we're almost to the end.
We're almost to the end of the decade.
You give 2018 a rating. I've given everything else ratings.
2018, based on what we got, 2018, I'd give that an 8. I'd give
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly what I was going to do. And if you said any other number, I was going to call you stupid.
Wow. Okay.
2018.
Yeah. It
The
was
year that Dom's not stupid.
the year that Dom was not.
He's not stupid. He's very smart. We're going to move on to the final
The final year. This
the year that is now. We're here.
2019.
2019 movies. That was loud. And unexpected. 2019 movies. Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
Contender tied for like year of the decade. It's
Wow, okay.
It's spectacular. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
Now listen here. I like the movie. I'm not a bigot. You know what I think it is? You guys just don't like feet.
Yeah.
I got to see Margot Robbie's feet. So instant movie of the year.
Big same.
I know it was just a day in the life of these people. It's not my fault you don't like Quentin Tarantino. It's not my fault you don't like feet. I like both of them. So
Quentin Tarantino, feet.
feet,
Good
you
stuff.
get the stamp of approval, and also The Lighthouse, which came out the other
I didn't see
the
that
other
either.
month.
I heard that was good though. My movies, I had
If you also like feet, watch The Lighthouse.
I had John Wick 3, which I just enjoyed. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I thought was really cool. Loved the makeup and the monster design and all that. Probably not the favorite of the year though, because the story was kind of lacking a little bit. But how much can you do with a little kid's book? And then Joker, thought it was really good. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I think has to be my favorite of the year. Yeah.
He likes feet.
I like
the
feet.
man likes feet.
The man likes feet. Not afraid to say it.
Now, video games wise, Fallen Order.
And you were telling me this, and I almost agree with you because I have yet to play Fallen Order. I'm going to be playing it after I beat Death Stranding. Death Stranding's really the only game I've played this year, and that's my favorite of the year. But I have to give a huge honorable mention to COD Mobile. So good.
I
Played on the
never
toilet,
played it. My
played on
phone
the
is
toilet.
destroyed. So
Go through a round. It's everything that Call of Duty has to offer, and it's free. So
but you don't like the normal Call of Duty games.
not
not really your
anymore.
vibe.
Last one I liked was Modern Warfare 2. Maybe Black Ops, but that was kind of where I was like,
And ready for this? Album, check it out.
oh shit.
There Existed an Addiction to Blood by Clipping. It's also, I'm going to say it here, favorite album of the decade.
Oh wait, you already have this. Like,
Yeah,
down.
this is it. This is the one. This is my favorite album of the decade. I am a super big spooky fan. I like everything spooky, everything.
Spooky. We're all about spooky
Scary,
on this cast.
paranormal.
If you've been an active viewer, you know spooky is what we do here.
My favorite holiday being Halloween, other than my birthday. They had been to drop it right before, and
Before
every
Halloween or your birthday?
for Halloween.
Okay.
And every song on it is it has a relatively weird like distortion, like spooky distortion. They have a bunch of like interlude songs that are like clips from movies.
Okay. I like when an album you can start it, you listen to it from the start. Every
you
song
need to
blends
so
together.
listen. You can listen to all these songs on their own. You need to listen to it. If you're a fan of Clipping, or if you're going to be a fan of Clipping, listen to the album from start to finish because each song ties into each other and they all are related in some small ways. Each song is about a different horror situation or a different thing that happens.
What was this album?
There Existed an Addiction to Blood by Clipping. David Diggs and the other
So
members.
came
I'm so
out
sorry.
this year and is possible
and is
album of the
definitively
decade.
my album of the decade.
Definitively. That's
Definitively.
crazy.
Yeah.
So this is what's really tough for me is two of my favorite bands released albums this year. One of which it was their first album in a decade. So like they hadn't released anything else except at the end of this decade.
Real
And
quick,
that-
Nicole, I'm sorry, Halloween is not a thing there. Go listen to this album and you'll have that.
You'll bring
vibe.
Halloween to Australia.
If you show that to every single person that's there, there will be Halloween.
Oh, there you go. There
will
you
be.
have it. Also,
me
Edward
wrong.
I see you. So we had I had a third one on the list which isn't tied, but it was Boy Harsher's Careful. I love Boy Harsher, they're really good. But two of my favorite bands released albums. Rammstein released a self-titled album, and it was their first album within a decade. Possibly one of my favorite music videos of all time was Deutschland, which was a song that was on the album. It's a 9-minute long music
Which
video.
means Germany.
Yes. And
Just in case you guys didn't know.
so good. Such a good album. And then Slipknot's We Are Not Your Kind. And I can't decide which album I like more. Slipknot's We Are
They're
Not
pretty
Your Kind.
much the same people.
They are-
They're the same. They're just foreign. Which one is foreign? Figure it out.
Not at all, but okay. Slipknot's album has some of that interlude type stuff like you're talking about. So it's very atmospheric. You can sit down and listen to it start to finish, and it all blends together. Rammstein's doesn't do that, but all the songs I feel like really fit the theme of this album. It was kind of different from the rest of their music, but considering they hadn't put out an album in a decade, good stuff. So do I have to choose which one was my favorite, or can I have them tied?
Gotta pick.
Gotta pick?
Gotta pick.
What's the producer say? Do I have to pick?
Yes.
I think as an album, I'm gonna have to say "We Are Not Your Kind" by Slipknot was because I really liked how that album came together, and I think that album, as opposed to I liked Rammstein's new album, like I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but unlike Slipknot's, I thought this new Slipknot album was one of Slipknot's better albums, whereas Rammstein's very good album, but they still have better albums than this one.
So let's go through and let's say our favorite movie, album, and game of the decade. And I will get it out of the way.
because you already know, I don't.
So favorite movies, I'm going to say with an S, Wolf of Wall Street, and The Nice Guys, and Peanut Butter Falcon.
Wow, Peanut Butter Falcon.
I'm gonna say Wolf of Wall Street takes it. Favorite movie of the decade. Congratulations, Wolf of Wall Street. To me, video games, Civ 5 and Uncharted 4. Civ 5 is taking the cake. Thank you, Civ 5. You came out in 2010, and I still play you. Fantastic game. And then there existed an addiction to blood. Thank you for that.
So
Dom, hit him with it.
all right. So I feel like best movie.
Best movie?
Drive.
Really?
Best movie of the decade. Because I was looking through my list and I was like, okay, no. I narrowed it down to Blade Runner, Fury Road, and Drive.
And Drive just takes the cake.
And
Because when I think of you, I think of Drive.
yeah,
Or when I think
Drive
of
was
Drive.
movie of the decade.
Game of the
Game.
decade.
Did you already say yours?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you said Civ 5.
Civ 5.
Okay, game of the decade. Let me look through this list.
What about you, Taylor? Movie of the decade, video game of the decade if you have one, album of the decade if you have one.
Nightcrawler, movie of the decade.
Great movie.
I liked it a lot. A lot of twists and turns.
A lot of twists and turns.
Emotional
A lot of
roller coaster.
dialogue. Some cool shots of camera.
Music.
Album. You could say best band that you've listened to this decade. Since album is too hard to think about.
I really hate giving
To Kill a
number-
Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar was pretty good.
Okay.
I really hate giving defining things to things that are at the end of a decade because I feel like that doesn't define the decade, but it ended it off. Because I'm honestly considering Death Stranding as my game of the decade,
Favorite video.
and I haven't even beaten it yet. But I really like what it's done so far.
Well, then do it.
But-
do it. It's your opinion.
No, I know it's my opinion, but I have other things that are contenders because Red Dead Redemption was really good.
I don't play video games like you guys play them.
Okay.
I'm a religious addict of FIFA and Fortnite.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like when I may graduate from Fortnite at some point, but I'll never
Yeah.
graduate
Thief
from
Night.
FIFA.
Yeah.
That's just my thing. It's not for everybody.
I got you. FIFA. I mean, hey, to each their own, man.
But I just play the same games a lot. Fortnite, me and my roommates just hammer out some heavy hours,
And Dominic, you got to make the decision, or I'm gonna make it for you, because now it's my opinion.
Oh no, he's gonna steal my opinion.
I'm just gonna say Metal Gear Solid 5 for him.
Why? No, because I can't say Metal Gear Solid 5 was my favorite game of the decade because I was disappointed with the story, and that was enough for me to go not game of the decade. Definitely like top 5 contender, maybe even top 3, but I can't. I was disappointed enough with the story.
Then Death Stranding. That would be my second for you.
Red Dead Redemption 2's up there too,
Okay.
and so is Metal Gear Rising. I don't know. It's like what parameters do you want to use to define what makes it the best? I mean, I know this is supposed to be my own opinion, but screw it, Death Stranding, because it chose to do something so different, and we're gonna end off the year strong with a game
And
of
then
the decade.
album.
This is gonna be really. What was yours again?
There Existed an Addiction to Blood by Clipping. Came out October this year. The end of the year, best album of the decade. I don't know how you do it. Follow
I mean,
on
to be
Twitter.
fair, Jab said that his favorite album of the decade was Gorillaz Plastic Beach, and that came out 2010, like at the beginning of the decade.
Yeah. Started
Um,
off strong.
I feel like Bad Blood, that with Kendrick and Taylor Swift
You a big Kendrick?
was a pretty good summary of the decade in a way. Am I
Quickly,
big?
Nicole, what was your favorite thing of the decade?
There's like a 10-second delay, so we'll get
What is your
through it.
favorite thing
thing of the decade.
that has the thing that has happened or
Hold on.
material thing of the decade?
I need to double check a track list real quick, and I might have my answer.
Okay.
I need to
And-
just make sure where are all of these songs that I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Kenny, you as well. What was your favorite thing?
Yeah, Kenny, I want to know.
We need to know.
You know what? If I don't find out within the next minute before I go to the bathroom, because I really need to,
We have a deep yearning to know.
we have a very, very deep yearning to know. And if you guys don't type it in,
It's going
right
to turn
now,
into a urinating.
It's going to turn into urinating, and I'm going to have to sit on it for the whole year.
Fuck. I looked at one of my other albums on the list and I was like, damn it,
You know
that's a
what?
contender now.
I'm sorry to say, guys, you might not find out today.
No.
You might not find out today. I'm sorry, guys.
Hold on.
His
one more.
favorite album.
No, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I'm almost here.
He's dedicated. He's very, very
I am going to
dedicated.
make a decision.
All right, well, you better make that decision because my PP is coming.
So I will tell you.
Oh, sorry, that's that's not.
I will tell you, in my contenders list, and this is going to be very surprising. I had Riff Raff's Neon Icon. Mm-hmm. I had Darren Malakian Scars on Broadway's Dictator. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm gonna give it to Random Access Memories, Daft Punk.
All right, Random Access Memories, Daft Punk. Thank you very much for watching. Tune in next year.
Yeah, tune in next year. We're gonna go watch The Mandalorian. Had to throw in Star Wars at the end. And
Did we mention Star Wars?
all right. Plug in, everyone, and we'll see you in the next decade.